Today, I want to talk about what I've been watching and what you should be streaming. Let's talk about it. First off, thank you so much for supporting me and watching my videos in 2019. Let's continue the conversation into 2020. Make sure to hit that like button before we get things started. Let's do the maintenance of the channel. Every streaming service needs to have a premiere show, and I watched it. So I'm going to let you guys know what was the thing that was putting me off from watching the show at first, what hesitation I had. Then I'm going to tell you a little about my thoughts about the show itself, and then I'm going to tell you what surprised me about the show. And then you can make your own decisions if you want to watch this show yourself. Now, I'm not going to give away any crazy spoilers about the shows, but I am going to have to talk a little bit about the show in general in order to give you some idea what the show's about. But no crazy big plot spoilers, no spoilers at all, just little tidbits about the show that won't ruin your experience. So the first show I've been watching is The Witcher on Netflix. Now, Netflix is definitely the premier streaming site. I know everybody's coming for them in 2020, but I gotta say, The Witcher, at first, I was a little bit hesitant. The reason I was hesitant to watch The Witcher was the fact that Henry Cavill was in it. I know, he did a great Superman, right? I think his Superman was pretty good. But the fact that he had all the Superman drama that was happening, and then they announced he was doing The Witcher, I was like, is this something that he's just doing for the time being, and that when the Superman role clears up and he gets it again, the green light from DC, he's just gonna leave it? So I was hesitant to jump in because I don't know how long the show would be around for. But I was quite surprised, I gotta admit. I enjoyed the show. I actually found myself liking Henry Cavill as The Witcher. I think he did a great job with the role. Even though he's not really given a lot to say, I would say Henry Cavill's acting and basically the amount of lines that he has on The Witcher is the same amount of lines that basically Keanu Reeves has in the John Wick movies. So not a lot of lines, but he definitely does a lot with what he's given, and he's definitely pronounced in the series. A little bit of a surprise for me about the show was the fact that he was not the lead, and the fact that it was just him and everybody else's background. No, it's actually 3 different stories you're following in The Witcher. So there's actually 2 different actresses alongside Henry Cavill who share a lot of screen time. So you're gonna get Henry Cavill, but you're also gonna get a lot of these 2 other actresses, and they definitely carry their own way. So they're definitely not gonna slow down the show for you. I found that one thing that I put off about is that this show's supposed to be about a monster hunter, right? He's supposed to hunt monsters, but there's very few monsters being hunted in the show. I don't know if Netflix was saving all their money for the last episode of the show, which I'm gonna say it's definitely serious what's happening in the last episode. Definitely a good last episode right there. But definitely I feel like they spent all the money on the last episode and they cut back on a lot of monsters. There is some monsters, but not to the degree that you're expecting when you watch the trailer. You're like, wow, this is going to be just monster hunting extreme. So The Witcher is definitely a good show. It's a good sci-fi show. I think Henry Cavill definitely surprised me in this role. And when season 2 comes out, I'm definitely going to watch it. So what do you think? Are you going to watch The Witcher? The next show I'm going to talk about is a show on Disney+. Disney+ is the new kid on the block. They're coming from Netflix's head, right? Not really. The amount of content on Disney Plus, if you have kids, then yeah, they're gonna love it. They're gonna watch the same thing over and over. But if you've seen all the Star Wars movies and all the Marvel movies, there's not a lot to watch, honestly. So The Mandalorian is the big bright spot. And I'm gonna say I was hesitant about watching The Mandalorian was the fact that I'm not into Star Wars like that. I've seen all the Star Wars movies except the last 2 that came out. Not really big into the last 3, honestly. So I'm not really a big Star Wars fan. I'm more of a Star Trek person, but I appreciate Star Wars for what it is. So going into this, I was a little bit hesitant because I didn't know if I had to know all about Star Wars in order to get into this. And I'm very happy to report you do not have to know a lot about Star Wars at all to get into The Mandalorian, and which was great. I watched it with my wife. She's not really into Star Wars that much, and both of us really enjoyed this show. I gotta give a lot of props to Pedro Pascal. You know him as the Viper from Game of Thrones. He did a great job with the role of the Mandalorian. A lot of actors would be hesitant to do a show where you're wearing a mask a lot, and basically he just knocked it out the park. Like, Pedro Pascal is definitely the man in this show. He's also aided by a very strong cast. Like, everybody who they brought onto this show, it seems like the way the show develops is very slow in the first couple of episodes, so don't get put off by that. Stick with it. The show definitely picks up steam. I would describe it like a Western in space with beautiful cinematography, strong writing, and a great center character. So if you're not into Star Wars, don't let that put you off. Definitely watch it. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this, and I'm actually looking forward to more Star Wars content now that I watched The Mandalorian. I'm just hoping that Jon Favreau, who's involved in this, is involved in that as well. He did a great job with The Mandalorian. So I definitely advise you check it out. You should check it out in streaming. Now, have you watched any of these shows that I talked about? Which one of these shows is your favorites right now, or which one is you're definitely not gonna check out? Put it in the comments, man. You know how to do this. It's 2020. You should know by now. If there's any big spoilers you're gonna talk about, put spoilers in front of it. Don't spoil it for people, right? So put spoilers in the comments if you think you're gonna spoil something. Make sure to hit the like button and share the Tone Show. Really quickly, guys, I have a podcast. I've been doing podcasts before podcasts were all popular and stuff. Check me out. Do your research. Tone Show's not jumping on no bandwagons. It's called Last Weekly. That's Last Weekly Podcast. I'm gonna put a link to it on the bottom. If you're into podcasts, check it out. I think you might enjoy it. We talk about movies, and we also talk about what happens during the week. So we break down the news for you. So as always, guys, this is the Tone Show. Make sure to hit me with a like, hit me with a comment, and as always, Tone Show out. Woo! Last Weekly, check it out.